Did you know that one of the world's first great empires, rivaling ancient Egypt and Babylon, was lost to history for over 3,000 years? It wasn't until the early 20th century that archaeologists rediscovered its ruins. The grand tapestry of human history is filled with such threads, mighty empires that rose, shaped the world and then vanished, leaving behind only whispers in the sand. We focus on familiar names: Rome, Greece, Egypt, but what about the others? These forgotten empires are crucial chapters filled with innovation and drama. They built towering cities, forged powerful armies, and created intricate trade networks. Ignoring them is like trying to understand the universe by looking at only a handful of stars. So why do entire civilizations fade from memory? Sometimes it's conquest, other times environmental changes, or they collapse under their own weight. In our journey today, we will explore the rise and fall of three forgotten powers: the Aksumite Empire in Africa, the Hittite Empire in the Near East, and the Khmer Empire in Southeast Asia. We will uncover the secrets of their strength, the reasons for their decline, and the lessons they hold for us today. Understanding their fate helps us understand our own place in the saga of civilization. How does an empire become forgotten? It's not as simple as losing a war. The Roman Empire fell, but we remember it through its influence on laws, languages, and architecture. Forgetting is a slow erosion of memory, happening when a civilization's records are destroyed or its language becomes indecipherable. Without their own words, a people's history becomes vulnerable, left to be told or ignored by successors. Think of history as a great library, where some books have been burned or written in unreadable languages. The empires we remember are those whose stories survived, often copied by later cultures. Another reason for historical amnesia is perspective. History is often written by victors, focusing on their own achievements. For centuries, Western history centered on a direct line from Greece to Rome to modern Europe, leaving little room for other great civilizations. But today, archaeology, genetics, and satellite imaging allow us to uncover buried cities and decipher lost scripts. We are becoming historical detectives, piecing together stories of lost worlds. This journey isn't just about the past, it's about creating a more complete picture of who we are as a species. Our first stop takes us to the highlands of Africa, to a kingdom that once controlled trade between two worlds. Our ship of imagination hovers over the highlands of modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, where the kingdom of Aksum flourished in the 3rd century CE. Aksum was a hub of international trade, a beacon of architectural innovation, and one of the first empires to adopt Christianity. Its wealth was built on its strategic location, controlling the Red Sea trade routes between the Roman Empire and India. Spices, silk, and exotic animals flowed through its ports, while Aksumite merchants exported gold, ivory, and frankincense. Aksum was a pioneer in minting its own coins, a sign of its economic sophistication and international standing. These coins, found as far away as India and the Mediterranean, advertised the power and prestige of Aksumite kings. Under King Ezana, Aksum embraced Christianity, shaping the region's cultural and religious identity for millennia. Aksum was a central player, shaping global currents of trade, culture, and faith. Aksum's ascent was the result of geography, ingenuity, and ambition. Emerging from an earlier civilization, it inherited advanced agricultural techniques. A stable food supply was the bedrock upon which they built their empire. The true engine of Aksum's growth was trade. Its rulers understood the power of their position, controlling the Red Sea bottleneck. They built a powerful navy and established the bustling port city of Adulis, a marketplace for merchants from Alexandria, Persia, and India. This control of trade was like controlling a vital artery of the global economy, pumping immense wealth into their kingdom. The kings of Aksum were powerful rulers with a formidable army and sophisticated bureaucracy. The adoption of Christianity under King Ezana was a brilliant geopolitical move, aligning with the faith spreading across the Roman Empire. This shared religion strengthened trading partnerships and gave Aksum a distinct identity in a world of competing powers. If Aksum was so powerful, why did it fall into obscurity? Its decline was a slow process driven by environmental change and geopolitical shifts. The rise of Islam in the 7th century saw Arab powers seize control of the Red Sea trade routes, isolating Aksum. The port of Adulis was destroyed, cutting off Aksum from its maritime lifeline. At home, centuries of intensive farming and deforestation exhausted the soil, and the climate grew drier. Archaeological evidence suggests declining rainfall and agricultural yields, making it harder to support its population. The kingdom's resources dwindled, its power waned, and its people began to abandon the old urban centers. Aksum didn't vanish overnight. It slowly faded, its great monuments forgotten by the outside world for nearly 1,000 years. Let's reset our coordinates to 1600 BCE in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, where the Hittites rose to power. For centuries, their existence was known only from scattered references in the Old Testament, but then archaeologists unearthed the ruins of their capital, Hattusa, and discovered a royal archive of clay tablets. The Hittites were a force to be reckoned with, challenging New Kingdom Egypt and the Babylonian Empire. They were masters of warfare, diplomacy, and technology, redrawing our map of the ancient Near East. One key to Hittite power was military innovation, mastering ironworking while neighbors still used bronze. The Hittites perfected the use of the light, three-man war chariot, using them as shock troops. This tactic, combined with disciplined infantry, made the Hittite army one of the most effective fighting forces. Their military prowess allowed them to conquer vast territories, creating an empire that stood as an equal to the great pharaohs of Egypt. The discovery of the Hittites revealed a complex, multipolar world where several great powers vied for supremacy. It was a revelation that shook the foundations of ancient history. The Hittites were the original Iron Men of antiquity. The rise of the Hittite Old Kingdom around 1650 BCE was swift and dramatic, built on political unity and military strength. Ambitious kings like Hattusili I consolidated power by conquering smaller city-states. They established their capital at Hattusa, a formidable fortress in the Rocky Highlands. The Hittite state was a blend of monarchy and aristocracy, with the king ruling in consultation with an assembly of nobles. The peak of Hittite power came during the New Kingdom, expanding influence through military conquest and diplomacy. They arranged diplomatic marriages, exchanged gifts, and forged alliances, creating a web of international relations. This era culminated in the Battle of Kadesh in 1274 BCE, leading to the world's first known detailed peace treaty. The Treaty of Kadesh is now displayed at the United Nations, a symbol of peace and diplomacy. The Hittite Empire, seemingly invincible at the Battle of Kadesh, collapsed around 1200 BCE as part of the Late Bronze Age collapse. Great civilizations across the eastern Mediterranean and Near East crumbled in a systemic collapse. The invasion of mysterious sea peoples disrupted trade, sacked cities, and toppled kingdoms. Severe climate change led to drought, crop failures, and famine across the Hittite heartland. Internal weakness played a role, with the centralized Hittite state unable to withstand simultaneous shocks. Once Hattusa fell, the empire disintegrated, its knowledge lost, and cities abandoned. For 3,000 years, the mighty Hittite Empire was buried until modern archaeology gave it a second life. The stories of Aksum and the Hittites remind us that civilizations, like stars, are finite. On a cosmic calendar, all recorded history occupies only the last few seconds of December 31st. Within that brief flicker, countless empires have risen and fallen, each a unique experiment in human cooperation and survival. The forces that brought down these empires, climate change, trade disruption, migrations, are challenges we face today. Their histories are cautionary tales, showing how interconnected and fragile our societies can be. But they also offer hope, speaking to the resilience and creativity of the human spirit. Even after their empires fell, their cultures did not vanish. The legacy of Aksum lives on in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and Hittite innovations shaped the world that followed. Humanity's story is one of continuity as well as collapse. By uncovering forgotten stories, we gain a deeper perspective on our own time and challenges. The universe is full of stories, we just have to be willing to listen. If you've enjoyed this journey through time, subscribe for more explorations into our cosmos and ourselves.